The Awakening of the Chosen. Many shut their eyes to sleep as the darkness of the night increases. Others of us wake up instead. A close call, strong and unquestionable, vibrates in our spirit, upsetting the basis of our life. Have you ever had this restlessness, as if something significant were about to come clear? As the channel, the spiritual secrets leader, Gabriel here today, is meant to be guided by a vital spiritual trip towards his progress. Not accidentally, but rather because it yearns for this enlightenment. Your soul led you here. For those who see themselves as really chosen, this message is not just a video, but also a spiritual clarion, calling that a great exchange has already occurred and that nothing will be as before. March 21. Believe me, the strength you are looking for is not far off. It is inside you, just waiting to surface with your permission. This material contains the secret to releasing this ability and allowing a spiritual rebirth beyond human comprehension. Ignoring this summons would mean grave spiritual mistake, thereby squandering a heavenly insight meant only for you. This message may help you to change your life and bring it into line with your actual goal. Usually felt during restless nights, the scream of your spirit is the forerunner to this awakening. Share in the comments if this sentiment has already touched your heart. Click on to leave a mark, a trail of your dedication to this spiritual journey, because the cosmos has sent it here for a betterment. Get ready, since the disclosure that follows promises to change your perspective of the world and provide the clarity your spirit demands. This is a road of self-discovery in which we take part as heroes in our spiritual transcendence, as well as viewers. Imagine a secret force that, unnoticed to many, vibrates under the surface of ordinary life, but that pulsates strongly in those who can sense. Today, this phenomena gathers us, the spiritual call to the selected ones, a strong gearbox already in motion before 21st March. Few among us can really grasp this spiritual reality, which is maintained far from the reach of the masses and not the outcome of theory or conjecture. Still today, did you cease seeing this power on your own path? This calling is a loud riot begging for acknowledgement, not a timid whisper deep within his soul. It is the voice that, by close relationship with the divine, motivates transformation and change. Consider it like an old song that resounds in your heart and is sometimes muffled by the sound of the surroundings. These unseen strings shape your obstacles, urge you wake up, and help you to steer your life. The spiritual call shows itself sometimes when you feel foreign within your own flesh, displaced from the world. Reconnecting with something more than oneself has great urgency. Imagine a tree missing in a desert, searching fervently for its roots. Your spirit is yearning this perfect harmony. This phenomena helps to explain why he still feels a gap he cannot fill, although having all he had dreamt of. Deeply resonating in all his experiences, he murmurs, seeking to draw him to his actual destiny, a fate long promised. Look back and go over the times when you felt different from others, even if you would reject this reality and it became difficult. These recollections provide as evidence that this phenomena has been there throughout your life, guiding encounters and occurrences, initially seeming to be random. Even the suffering has traces of this summons, which makes one doubt and search for wisdom. The knowledge of this realization makes the difference between the enlightened and the stationary. Ignoring it just helps to keep a never-ending cycle of discontent and sorrow. This is the moment to release the shadows hiding your path, to accept wisdom, and to break free. Recall that waking is an immediate and inescapable message, not a vague future. It is a promise now. Using this basis, you should sense the pulse of the just starting metamorphosis. We guide you even further and expose the elements that will raise your spirit to the next degree of awareness. The foundation of your spiritual development will turn out to be what you are going to learn. The transformation starts right now. Time to pause has already passed. Ready to be replied, destiny beckons by your name. Let me intensify the primary revelation in which the spiritual call performs quietly, a phenomena preparing the selected one for a cosmic rebirth. Every subtlety shows that the strength of this fact is not only in its passive knowledge, but also in its deliberate and vivid implementation in the fabric of life. Here, each action moves toward illumination. Like the opening of Holy Scriptures, we believed to have vanished permanently. Imagine a garden of inner bliss in which every choice and every idea sprouts something. Like in Eden, there are plenty of fruit-bearing trees, yet only those who accept wisdom will be able to reach the ripe fruits of knowledge and actual understanding. This garden lives, and calm and purpose emanates when it is in line with the universal flow. But he wrought in a barren world of suppressed indecisions and regrets when reckless. Think about how the intricacy of this occurrence shows itself in its existence. How many times have you encountered crossroads, situations that seem like earthly options, yet hold enormous spiritual decisions within you? These are the times when the spiritual call echoes louder and installs itself to transcend the boundaries of thought and matter. Ask yourself, how many contacts or confrontations neglected over the years may have been just that voice, seeking to steer him to a different path, insisted on avoiding? The call is unrelenting and pure, directing on ever more deep waves of reflection. There is a reason why the murmurs of this trip appear to be louder amid the turmoil of a busy day or during serious quiet. Like Moses revealing the tablets of divine law, this truth must be unfolded not only with bravery, but also with resolve to cross previous boundaries. In actual life, the management of these cases shows itself as something like the path of purification, eliminating capulas to allow louder and lighter flights. And if we can disregard this ongoing metamorphosis, we give up to a cycle of repetition, such as endless circles around nebulae deserts, instead of following the straight path of light, right to the celestial dream. So, equip your conscience to reach beyond. Acceptance of this fact is a study of the inner obstacles that confine the actual self, not a straightforward act of realization. Subtle as a wind, an irreversible power is triggered like a storm on the road to the holy essence. And that is where the unpaid change turns into deliberate blessing. The theater is ready for a more profound performance of your spiritual trip. Let's see your chances and engage the very attentive and concentrated spirit in the metamorphosis you want. Let me guide you to a higher level of this reality, where the spiritual call not only whispers, but also resonates loudly via minute life adjustments. Every difficulty you encounter is like a season on your road, events that, once surmounted, will strengthen your spirit. To finish the internal development cycle, this spiritual urge always leads the guide to traverse demanding winters and searing summers. Imagine the sensation of a road traversed many times, but every fresh journey uncovers secrets just around every turn. Every selected follows this road, the anxiety that surfaces in the middle of the daily, the discontent of financial success that does not really satisfy, the synchronicities that seem to lead to something more. Ask yourself, When was the last time you thought everything around you was gently directed to awaken your inner self? The might of the divine, so-called, shapes your life, just as a river finds its path, even amid big boulders. Its course is not arbitrary. Sometimes you could have had unanticipated meetings, choices that change your viewpoint, just as a holy book assures us that our travels are directed by divine light. Consider how Scripture refers to seeds placed into rich ground. This floor stands for your heart, ready to germinate when spiritual truth is fed and recognized. Ignoring this inner development means staying in the roots and letting your branches to reach the heavens unattached. Living on the surface, one is repeating unconnected patterns that freeze their development. Understanding this insight helps one to give each experience more great meaning and renews its significance. Accepting this fact whole will help you to see that the same barren ground opens to a vivid and plentiful forest where your soul grows and develops every instant. But if you let yourself welcome this insight now, spiritual awakening will elevate you to a more evolved level of consciousness. And when their decisions and behaviors start to connect with this new view, one will see that harmony will replace anarchy and confidence will disturb the doubts of the path. Imagine yourself in the solitude of one night, staring at the starry sky. To wrap this meditation, every star one option, every constellation a lesson. The answers the soul seeks are found in this infinite. Let this message guide you, as the next phase of this journey will demand you to grasp the processes of divine change. It's time to perceive, not only with the outside vision, but also with the entirety of the heart awake. Deeper we find the immensity of this spiritual reality, like a cosmic tapestry, whose entwined threads are our decisions, experiences, and insights. Every element of this phenomena may be transformed. This is an alchemy that the selected are called to rule. See your life as a trip down a river that runs throughout all the scenery of its existence. This river stands for the continually flowing, always tempting stream of spiritual awareness. On the banks, they rest the possibilities, but also the hazards of parking for extended periods, where the current seems slower and more stable. Every decision one makes in the foggy seas is really an opportunity, hidden behind overcoming previous constraints, bursting in something bigger and more complete. See yourself sailing this route, and let the truth blossom on every turn. This reality helps us to practice spirituality with more regularity, which in turn influences the basis of our earthly problems as well. Think back on the times in your life when you felt as if there was no way out of problems or conflicts. These days, the so-called actions let you redefine your threshold of strength and resolve, thus supporting the fact that our definition of ourselves is shaped by our choices and how much we come out from them, rather than by conflicts. Consider the history of Job, who suffered significant loss and suffering, yet somehow chose the power of the ashes and their unwavering faith to create even more wonderful healing opportunities. Therefore, it is for the selected in their afflictions, each one a chance presented as spiritual development. His personal difficulties beckon to a deeper personal communion with himself and the divine, a reunion with his essence, resonating like echoes of old hymns. Ignoring this appeal is like losing yourself in a desert of indifference and repetition. On the other hand, looking back will reveal a desert where a forest ought to have been. Opposition to change turns into an enclosure, a kind of incarceration by the limited ideas themselves that stop progress. This is the difference between just existing and really living with intention, because he who embraces this reality in his path feels much accelerated by it. For those who are eager to investigate, the delivery to this process marks the beginning of a rich and vivid awareness rather than a termination. When adopting this series of odes, transform your dreams into environmentally friendly deeds and realize the possibilities of the future location. On one side, the portals of perception open and await the ongoing spiritual ascent. Be mindful and let your intentions to be your lighthouse in this morning of discoveries, while we still learn the processes of soul change. Every breath and heartbeat whispers to negotiate the most wide oceans and illuminated heavens. Just a determined stride into the great unknown, the route ahead has already started to show beneath his feet. Both apparent and unseen, there are invisible gears moving spiritual metamorphosis and holy systems running under coordinated control. Every selected is directed through these procedures, meant to raise his conscience and match his life with the larger good, just as the Lord has followed the path of his prophets. The inner waking comes first, in which the soul starts to answer the divine summons. At this point, your curiosity develops and helps you to search past appearances. This interest is the spark that starts the mind to consider its values and beliefs. One may see how a barren field, starting to bloom with fresh ideas and wishes, recognizes the discontent that arises as a heavenly engine. We then come to soul cleansing. Imagine yourself confronting the purifying fire that eliminates contaminants to expose the gold from its true nature. Old habits and bad ideas are very looked for and screaming out by attention at this era. But by conquering them, the spirit cleanses in a more purer light, as the Bible tells us of the prophets who, following proof, arose rejuvenated to fulfill their destiny. The third phase is the expansion of awareness, in which perspective of the world totally changes. Before, the intellect catches unseen subtleties. Then, it detects divine connections joining us in everything like invisible wires. At this point, you see possibilities where you before saw challenges, and intuition whispers truths guiding you to act with love and faith. This development not only revitalizes your body, but also infuses your soul, therefore enabling the selected one to feel one with the cosmos around him. The dedication to the purpose marks the final stage. Here, the selected one may obviously perceive its wonderful function. David heard God's word in the solitude of the fields. Now, it is his turn to embrace the mission assigned by heaven, leading her like a light on the dark night, knowing that her path affects not just her own life. Consider the scriptures, where people selected by God, like Moses and Elijah, faced apparently difficult obstacles to transform them, thereby extending their faith and their bravery. And if we overlook these systems, as many do when consumed by self-indulgence, we run the danger of staying in a cycle of illusion, caught to what only approximates true bliss. One has to act. Time does not pardon endless waiting. Rather, delaying this knowledge simply confirms what ought to be destroyed and restored in front of spiritual truth. The chance now offers itself, built brain and open heart, to avoid false quiet and accept the actual metamorphosis it awaits. Every time of doubt recall, as it was stated, those who wait in the Lord will renew their strengths, will rise with eagle wings. Victory over lethargy, strength in continuity. Entering the regions of the internal and external processes guiding spiritual change, we start to see a holy complexity, a cosmic dance guiding the development of the selected one. First, there is the inner call, that quiet personal moment when the heart wakes to the most profound truth. This waking starts the introspection and self-analysis process. wherein old masks start to crumble. At this point, you could experience growing restlessness and a strong need to free yourself from the unseen currents linking you to outdated norms. This is the stage of revelation, when the person understands that the view of the eyes falls short. For here is where the seed of spiritual yearning is sown. This phase might show itself as a strong longing for solitude, meditation, and inner connection. Purification comes next, a difficult and often unpleasant, but necessary procedure. Imagine how filthy gold that must be purified by fire looks. The selected one also has to negotiate the fires of uncertainty, atonement, and buried emotions. This cleansing lets the darkness buried for a long period be acknowledged and transformed. Here the scriptures remind us of the paths of spiritual purification, including the trip of Israel via the desert, thus representing the sublimation of the old to make way to the new. Consciousness expands when these obstacles are transferred. The mind awakens to the expanse of the spiritual realm and starts to understand its role and goal within this larger framework. Veins of information seem to have sprung alive, lighting hitherto obscure routes. Actually, it's a time of amazing creativity, more sensitivity, and a fresh sense of direction that pervades every part of your life. One might have flash of insight when responses formerly illusory suddenly show themselves with startling clarity. At last, the time comes in line and under control. This is the period the selected one discovers a harmonic equilibrium between his worldly and spiritual existence. He not only knows, but also lives and shows his heavenly mission. At this time, the selected one radiates the light that now glows from the inside out and starts guiding and setting an example for others. Recall the biblical stories where the prophets, following their own insight, became leaders and lighthouse for their people. At this point, the call turns into a mission. Those incapable of transcending these phases stayed caught in the chains of illusion and materialism, whirling in self-imposition gears. But you fit into a cycle of spiritual riches, investigating and expressing the infinite of your divine identity by accepting the continuity of this enlightenment. One must really start this road right now. Every day seems as a blank page, waiting to be filled with the narrative of your changing soul. With a warning mind and strong heart, go determined by this route for the enormous change that awaits and its limitless influence on life and beyond. From the darkness to light, from uncertainties to assurance, and insignificance to everlasting glory, let this spiritual synergy guide you. There always are two paths ahead of us on our spiritual trip. One leads to the inner essence unfolding. The other stays anchored in the opposition to actual purpose. Imagine two selected people impacted by the same reality, but choosing opposite paths. The first person John calls chooses to accept his essence with full honesty and will. It lets spiritual truth nourish and change its existence, just as the rich ground receives rainfall. His being vibrates with this acceptance, therefore providing tranquility and clarity. John is in line with the cosmos, and his decisions are motivated by strong and clear beliefs, much like Abraham's path, who, upon hearing the divine summons, followed with confidence even in hitherto unexplored areas. His interactions become closer and more real, and his life becomes a constant flame, lighting hope and motivating everyone who come across him. Sophia, on the other hand, questions and objects to the call. It locks itself in a circle of doubts and worries and withdraws in the face of development chances. Like Jonas, who left his mission and encountered the storm of his own decisions, his spiritual life becomes parched terrain where despair and uncertainty rule. Sophia senses an increasing distance in his connections, as if she is lost in loneliness even among others. Your life's goal appears to elude you through your fingers, causing an ongoing sense of unbounded loss. Consider for a minute which of these situations you may see right now. Let yourself assess the path your spiritual development has taken you. Although you are the one who decides whether to embrace or reject this spiritual metamorphosis, keep in mind that your decision will define your destiny and carry unbreakable consequences. Let this meditation ring within you like far-off bells, begging to awaken. This decision has great influence. It is like turning the stone into diamond and exposing its hidden and limitless beauty by following its actual road. That by crossing to the next phase of your trip, you experience the urgency and inspiration of selecting the road of truth and light that awaits your arrival. Permit the metamorphosis occur and permit its divine nature to be unquestionable, the exquisite moment. By now in the trip, one must realize that information alone is like an undressed seed without action. He is still barren, incapable of reaching his potential. Those who actively embrace this fact and delve into it in their daily life are those who see the actual metamorphosis. Others who stumble or reject are engulfed by the norms of inertia they already know so well. Let us now discuss 3 spiritual activities you selected. You may begin doing them immediately to match your energy with this fresh awakening. First, think about open heart meditation. Set aside a peaceful area free from everyday distractions, where you feel at peace and detached. Feel relaxed. Shut your eyes and concentrate on your breath. See a golden glow around your heart as you inspire. Every beat brings clarity and calm. When you expose, let all the uncertainty and stress go. Spend 15 minutes every day in this exercise to develop a rising calm and a high degree of mindfulness. Second, the habit of deliberate thanks may change your everyday impressions. Write 3 things or occurrences for which you are thankful every day at a designated time. You list them, but also develop great thanks inside of you. This helps you to build your soul and open doors to prosperity in unexpected ways, therefore transforming apparently difficult challenges into veiled benefits. The third habit is the purpose, visualizing. Every morning when you wake up, mentalize your goal by matching it with a definite aim. Consider it like a seed sown on rich ground, seeing it flourish and produce fruits. Maintaining this picture over the day will help her to direct her choices and support her will. As a challenge, I suggest that you spend 20 to 24 hours thoroughly introspectionally. Stop writing in a journal of your findings on what you really desire to create in your spiritual life at some point throughout this day. Also, pay attention to your intuition. Record these ideas and problems that develop, because only then will you be able to show the success of these techniques. Those who really commit themselves to this endeavor may discover unanticipated routes and solutions. Remember, you will encounter opposition and self-sabotage, are ghosts from past planning that tries to stop you. But this pain is brief and part of the profound trip only the selected ones take. Every stride forward is a triumph against acquiescence. Persistence and patience will help you to dig the roots of your new awakening. Thus, get this fact in your hands and choose your attitude. For you shape your fate like a carpenter of your own life. With this information, your path from now on will be defined. The call was answered. You'll reply. We should underline as we go that everything we cover here shouldn't stay in the field of passive thinking. Rather, it has to be actively embraced in your everyday life if spiritual changes are to materialize. First, we create disciplined habits that will help you to keep this new degree of awareness. Daily deliberate meditation is the first discipline. Make plans for a peaceful area, a personal haven, free from outside distractions, where you may connect with yourself. Feel comfy, shut your eyes, and concentrate on your breath. Imagine a golden light pouring through you, sign of illumination and clarity. Let this light clear any obstacles and distribute tranquility all over your body. Spending 15 minutes every day on this exercise will help one to achieve peace and rejuvenation of spiritual attention. Second, the practice of mindful thankfulness will assist your life attract and mold riches. Write a thank you notebook each morning or evening, noting 3 things for which you really are thankful. This not only refines mental habits to recognize the divine in daily events, but also channels your energy toward positive. By doing this, you allow blessings to show up in real form. The nightly contemplation is the third exercise. Spend some minutes before bed considering your day. You discovered what? Which steps have you taken to get closer to your strongest spiritual yearning? This technique will help you to match your dreams with the knowledge acquired, therefore enabling subconscious intelligence to blossom by lightening the conscious mind. I suggest an immediate spiritual challenge. For 24 hours, remain in connection with yourself and ask, how can I be a channel of light and purpose today? Take a note of intuitive responses that occur and act on at least one of them before the end of the day to help to solidify these practices. This presence will help you to rediscover your spiritual center and show the effectiveness of these techniques in use. One must be conscious of the inner forces opposing change along this path of metamorphosis. Such anguish is inevitable in life, as the strongest roots emerge from the ground breaking. The soul seeks growth and truth. The intellect may choose known and insurance. It is essential to keep on despite internal reluctance, as those who dedicate to practice always reach depths of calm and illumination, levels others only dream of. Your road from there will be shaped by your decisions on what you do with this information. The response time is now, and the call is being done. Remember, what you do with this truth will define your path from now on. The call was made. You will answer. Realizing that what we share today is not just a collection of academic ideas, but also a truth that begs to be experienced at its most, is essential at the conclusion of this discovery road. This insight is a beacon leading everyone selected into complete fulfillment of their spiritual purpose. Though remember, this is just one of the many stages that will take you to spiritual completion. Each one of the ones we covered has been meant to propel your conscience to a new level. I now ask you to delve thoroughly into the meditation on your life. Think back on what you have discovered. Now that you know the truth, what will you do to her? This is the moment to make decisions, as the one you choose now will define your path forward. Your future is written in the acts you do here and now, not in the tomorrow. Should this message really speak to you, leave a remark. Write, I accept my call. More than a digital contact, this gesture is a declaration of your will to the cosmos, a reinforcement of your relationship with the divine, therefore verifying your readiness to embrace and begin your actual mission. As we pray a short, may God enlighten your steps, strengthen your soul, and open your eyes to the truths that were hidden. May you find clarity, strength, and purpose to follow the path you were destined for. Amen. This is more of an open door for additional discoveries than the end of the road. Get ready, as in the following video, we will discuss something much deeper that might transform your present spiritual path. Those who are ready to absorb knowledge are constantly surrounded by more. Remember, you are not alone yourself. I am walking by your side, and the community of Selected is here. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to prevent losing the updates essential for the next phase of its development. We shall progress more profoundly in knowledge of our biggest call together. Till our next encounter, keep your connection to the truth firmly anchored in your heart and follow with the assurance of your strength and clarity. May God's love and illumination keep you under direction. Be blessed and stroll in the calm of the Creator. Until then.